Hello everyone, I'm Saurabh Srivastava here. Today in our journey, we have reached the last section, Increasing Your Odds for Success. Chapter 13, Avoid the Top 10 Reasons People Fail of John Maxwell's book, Failing Forward. A chapter starts with, Lord, deliver me from the man who never makes a mistake, and also from the man who makes the same mistake twice. Dr. William Mayo. It it summarizes the whole chapter. Uh, I don't want to be a person who makes the same mistake again and again and again. If I'm not learning from the same mistake, just like we talked about in last chapter, then we are missing something. We have to learn, we need to learn. It should not become a knowledge base. Each mistake should not become a knowledge base. Instead, it becomes a motivation to act, just like Jim Rohn said. So here, John Maxwell talks about a story about luck. I don't put much stock in the idea of luck. I think that usually things go well or not so well for people based on their action. I believe that for most part you create your own luck by working hard, practicing self-discipline, remaining persistent, and making personal growth a daily priority. Add to that the blessing of loving God, and you don't need to think about luck. I absolutely agree with it, and definitely we need to have God as center of everything that we do, and then we keep making progress each and every day in every way. We keep improving ourselves. The top 10 ways people get in their own way. They get in their own way by poor people skill. We need to know basic people skill, that how to connect to people, how to talk to them, and how to make social interactions. People talk about here. John Maxwell talks about, people say that office politics. It's not office politics. It's people connecting to each other, and then in those connections they are making progress. A negative attitude. The second thing, if you have a negative attitude, that is the reason why you fail. So here is a story about a good story, and there is two lines that two men looked from prison bar, one saw mud and other stars. So it all depends what attitude you have. A bad fit, so that can be another reason for failure. Lack of focus, and if we do not have focus on things that we are doing, then we make mistakes. Just like recently I made mistakes. I lose the fact, or there is a problem at multiple things there, and definitely lack of focus on organizing things. So I ended up making the mistake, but I have made correction, and I'm going to work on that new process, and definitely it's going to work out. So then a weak commitment. If we are not committed to our goals, if we are not committed to committed to what we want to do, that is another reason of failure. Unwilling to change, and sometimes we are unwilling to change, and sometimes we want to see the change in in everyone else than ourselves. Or even if the change is happening across just like in the industry you work, or wherever you work, or whatever job you do, or whatever work you do as entrepreneur, if environment is changing around you, so you should be flexible enough to change so that you can survive. If you keep doing the same thing again and again and getting the same results, that's not going to help. Then a shortcut mindset. So we sometimes have that, can we do something shortcut that can work out. Definitely I also need to work on that, and I'll be working on it. The common denominator of success lies in forming the habit of doing things that failures don't like to do. Albert Gray perfectly summarized a shortcut mindset. Relying on talent alone. Sometimes we just rely on that, oh, I have a raw talent of, just in my case, quantitative abilities, but not necessarily that is going to further the things unless I add it with other skill sets to move on. Even at best, talent remains a constant, and those who rely upon that gift alone without developing further peak quickly and soon fade to obscurity. Example of genius only accentuate that truth. Newspapers love to print stories about 5-year-old musical prodigies giving solo recitals, but you rarely read about one going on to become a Mozart. The point here is that whatever his initial gift, Mozart was also an artist who learned to work on his work and thereby improve. In that respect, he shares common ground with the rest of us. Yeah, we all can be Mozart in our field or whatever work we are doing. I can be Mozart of what I am. I don't have to be anything else. Just by making an incremental change and working on my what I want to be. And if I start working on my work, that's a very good word, working on his work and working on my work. If I keep working on my work with due diligence and with all the qualities that require it to be done, definitely I am going to make a difference. A response to poor information. It's a very good story here about Rolls-Royce, Volkswagen, and BMW. Please read through it. It's amazing. I read that, and it kept me laughing. So definitely read it. It's a poor information. If we make a decision on poor information, are we validating, or are we at least doing a initial check of what needs success? Successful executives have in common the ability to make weighty decisions based on limited amount of information. So what it means to say is that that we need to understand what is good information, what is bad information, and differentiate between it. So it comes with practice, and definitely we need to do that. And 10th and the final, no goals. If you do not have goal, then where you will go? Ours is a world where people don't know what they want and are willing to go through hell to get it. Don Marquis, perfectly summarized. If you really don't know where you are going, but still you are running through the wheels, you need to stop and make a decision and look back and say, oh, this is where I want to go, instead of just spinning the wheel and nowhere to go. And putting purpose before people. So here is a story about Enjoy Group that John Maxwell has or owns. So he talks about Dan Reland, how he learned about, he's a very organized guy, but how he learned about people skill and how it makes a difference ultimately. And making changes, how important it is to making changes, to, how Dan took that challenge and made the change in himself to move on. So here is the 13th step, step to failing forward. Work on weakness that weakens you. Everybody has weakness. Review the top reasons people fail and determine whether you need to work on one of those areas, or you may have different issue that isn't listed there. So we need to what John Maxwell trying to say here is that we need to understand what area we need to work on to make the most impact on the ultimate goal we have or wherever we want to go, and then make a difference. So tomorrow I am looking forward to read chapter 14, the little difference between failure and success. Success makes a big difference, and looking forward to share that. Please, if you like this video, subscribe and like. If you do not like, please feel free to give your comment and dislike. Looking forward to talk to you tomorrow.